bit more than that. I've got to see you, Ross. Okay, Ross. Right, I'm actually going to do that again because here's the thing. I have just been out there talking to Linsey, who's just beyond those curtains, and who's a tad nervous.
You're just about.
She's saying Ross is a tad nervous. And anybody who's stood up to get married, many married people are in the room. Yeah. Quite a few. Quite a few men always reluctantly. If you're married, you know what a big deal it is to be at this point. Yeah. How nervous you are, how excited you are. Linsey just said, "Is I'm going to be there?" And when I said yes, she went, "Oh my God!" And then she saw the piper, she said, "Oh my God, he's going to pipe me in." You know that they're nervous, they're excited, and they just want to have the best day ever, right? And they want you to have the best day ever. So I just say to you, let's make sure they're all in the mood to have the best day ever. And what did you hear? Nothing. So should we do that again? Good afternoon. That's it, right? That's it. Sorry,
That's your fault.
Just before we get started, myself, my name's Linsey. I'm absolutely delighted to be here and to be leading us through this wee ceremony today. Well, I feel really on behalf of Ross and Linsey, I just want to say thank you for being here. A couple of wee things before we start. They're more than happy for you to take photos. They've just said please don't put anything on social media until after they do. And any wee ones that are in the room that get unsettled, please feel free to take them out and settle to bring them back in. But more importantly than that, together, me and Ross and Linsey have tried to create a ceremony that's going to be as enjoyable for you as it is for me. That was very much their brief, that they wanted you folks to feel part of what's happening up here. And so in order for that to happen, it means that for the next wee while, however long it's going to take us to meander through this ceremony, that you are fully and utterly present in the moment with them. So no switching off then when you're going to get for your dinner. I know you have done already. Just being here, being with them, taking part and enjoying every moment of what's to come. Can I ask you to do that?
Yeah.
But also being mindful that this is a marriage ceremony. It's a very important, sacred moment in the lives of Linsey and Ross. And so we also ask, that as we get through this wee ceremony that you hold them in your love and your friendship, however you know them, and send your best up here to the front of them as they walk this threshold together. Can I ask you to do that?
Yep.
Okay. I'm fed up listening to the second one voice, Ross. Shall we go ahead?
Yay!
Family and friends, please be upstanding as we welcome our bridal party. Family and friends, please be seated. Bridal party, please be seated. Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and fair for your honest, so-and-says faces, which just means blessings on your wee chubby faces. I'm going to watch you all looking at it when I say that. Welcome to the Strathaven Hotel for the beautiful wedding celebrations of Linsey and Ross. As I mentioned earlier, my name's Lindy. I'm a marriage celebrant with rights in Richards, Scotland. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all here. We've got around 70 of Linsey and Ross's nearest and dearest here today, and what a crowd we have. Some of you have travelled quite a distance to be here, and I know that means so much to Linsey and Ross. We've got Anthony and Louise all the way from Holland. Don't be too excited. Yes, don't say too much. Lynn's already upset lady. We've got Uncle Andy and Aunt Margaret up from England. We've got Stephen, Anna and Tracy who have come across the world from Australia. Stephen and Dee from Ireland. And Shirley, George and Ben from the lovely Aberdeenshire. And then we've got the rest of you. I'm told you're the lucky locals. And it's wonderful to have you here. And last but not least, we have Facebook. Because we've got watching you. We've got those people watching from Facebook. But we're here today not just to witness the legal joining of these two people, but to celebrate a love that's grown strong over the past 2 years. A love that's filled with laughter, friendship, and that undeniable spark that makes this moment possible. Today's ceremony isn't about perfection or formality. It's about joy, connection, and a wee bit of fun. So take a deep breath, relax, and soak in every second. Because today is about love, family, and the start of a brand new chapter. So welcome to the wedding ceremony of Linsey and Ross. However, although Linsey and Ross want today to be a joyful, happy day, they know that there are people absent from today who they very much wish could be here. The memory of Linsey's mum, dad, and elder sister, and Ross's mum weighs heavily on their hearts. And we honour their memory as we share in today's celebrations. As we begin this day, as we begin this day, let us light a candle to kindle the presence of lost loved ones.
Thank you, Scott. why I'm the smoker and you're the unsmoker. You want to strike it and I'll light it? We might get sick of it later.
Just take your time. I like the match, I'll give it to you. Just think about those people who are missing it. And then once you're ready, just come back to your area. Today we come to celebrate with words, rings and promises, and later with food, drink and dancing, all the best parts of Scottish hospitality. However wonderful though these things are, they are not what lies at the heart of today. Instead, what is at the heart of today are the promises and pledges Linsey and Ross will make to each other. However, pledging your life to another is about so much more than just one day or even a single piece of paper. Rather, it's 1,000 little things that make up the sum of your love and commitment to each other. It's being vulnerable and showing your true self, and to being open to learn and grow from and with each other. It's respecting the differences and boundaries each brings to the relationship, and to turn towards rather than away from each other when things get difficult. In other words, it's an affirmative and heartfelt choice, a commitment to the commitment. And it's one that Linsey and Rose have chosen to make here today. So before we go any further, Linsey McInnes and Ross Whitelaw, do you both freely seek to enter into this commitment of marriage? I'm going to ask you just to step over here a wee bit and turn and face your guests. Come over here and stand with Linsey and then turn and face your guests. Because we're going to play a wee game. Just before we share the story of how Ross and Linsey came to be, and because they wanted it to be a really Scottish wedding, and we've got folks from outside of Scotland, they wanted to play a wee game. So we're going to play a game called Haggis or Hogwash. So I'm going to hold up what could be a Scots word, and those people, stick your hand up if you're no Scottish. Only got two people that are Scottish. Usually the photographers are good help. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold up a word and you have to shout out if you think it is a word or if it's not a word. And the Scottish people in the room can help you, not by telling you if it is a word or not, but by telling you what the word means. Does that make sense? So pretty straightforward one straight away. What word's that? Egypt. Non-Scots is Egypt. When Egypt's a word, you think Egypt would be mad enough to have the word Egypt in the language? You do. You're right. It is Egypt. What does it mean? What does Egypt mean? Egypt. So it means, it's an affectionate way of saying you're really stupid. What about Quaich?
Stupid.
Flake it means you're a bit
Stupid.
sly. Don't just stupid, you're a bit clumsy, you're a bit, you know, you're a bit odd. Don't be sitting like it. A wee bit clumsy, a wee bit. Right, what's this next one? Oh, here's a good one. Strathaven.
That place.
As a word, and it means to wander. To stravage means to wander. I went stravaging through the countryside. Right, wait to see what the next one is. I don't even know what this says.
Universal.
What about this one?
Scunner.
Scunner. Do you think it's a word? Do you think it's a word? Yeah. What do you think it means? Fed up. Oh, I'm a wee bit scunner. You've got to say it the right way, scunner. Scunner. What about the hookie?
You're the hooky Ross.
And last but not least, the best word in the Scots language. Do we think that's a word? No. He's whispering another word, please. So, anybody think it's no word? Given that I just told you it's the best word tonight, is right. I will let the people. All over. It's a term of women Scots. You would go off away your people by.
Make great motions as well.
So I will let the people sitting around you tell you what that was. Right, who wants to hear the story of how these two met?
Yeah.
Well, are you going to listen? You just going to smooch? Well, before Linsey and Ross ever spoke a single word to each other, they were already orbiting the same world, attending the same events, usually nationalist events, right? Crossing paths and apparently occasionally staring at each other rather suspiciously. Ross quietly admired Linsey from afar, while Linsey was always convinced Ross was growling hard. Safe to say they were both a wee bit wary of each other. But then, in 2023, the stars and their friends aligned. Because during a lock-in in their mate's pub, the scheming began. A bit of matchmaking, a few drinks, and before long, they were signed up for a first date. Which took weeks to actually happen, and when it finally did, Ross's dad dropped them off. They love a supportive dad moment. And they headed to an indie music event where Ross was DJing. The romance really kicked in when they ended up in Witherspoons for their dinner. This is how they described it. Totally awkward. Wait, I'll bring it down a wee bit.
No, it's fine.
They described it as totally awkward, a bit surreal, and very, wait, what are we doing here? But still, something clicked. The second date, an Italian restaurant, total upgrade. Here they were finding their groove. Just some of their favourite memories from those early days together are the long drives they took, the lazy hangouts, and the quiet magic of simply enjoying each other's company. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Linsey had gone through a heartbreakingly hard year, losing her mum in 2023. And the truth is, grief could have pulled them apart. But Ross was instead her rock. Gentle, kind, patient. He kept showing up no matter how many walls were up. At one point, Linsey told Ross She didn't want anything serious, and he still kept coming back. That kind of steady, soft-hearted determination, that's the stuff soulmates are in need of. Eventually, Ross moved in, but not without resistance from Harrison, who spent the first 6 months trying to send him home every night. Right, time for you to go now. Poor Ross. But here's the beautiful twist. Now Harrison and Ross are best pals. And it's Linsey that's been officially relegated to third wheel. They've become not just a couple, they've become a wee family. When Ross decided to propose, he had visions of Tinto Hill and grand romantic gestures. But just like today, Scotland's weather had other ideas. The heavens opened and the whole thing got rained off. In the end, he proposed in the living room. Simple, honest, real, and of course, Linsey saved.
The one college took you in his back and
Today, standing here surrounded by their favourite people, they're not just celebrating love. They're celebrating the kind of relationship that's been built with laughter, loyalty, resilience, friendship, and a healthy dose of Scottish rebellion. They balance each other perfectly. Ross brings the fun and disorder. Linsey brings the order and the madness. But together they are unstoppable. They're both, as you know, fiercely patriotic. He was shouting freedom just before you command.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't checking the paper.
Possibly descended from William Wallace, according to Ross. And definitely dedicated to exploring and protecting the history of the land that they loved so much. But there's also the wee things. Ross does the dishes and takes out the bins. Linsey does all the cooking because, let's face it, Ross is absolutely hopeless at it.
Is he touching my hair?
But it works. It's them. So, what do they want you to remember about today? They want you to remember that love doesn't always arrive when you expect it. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's hiding behind a suspicious stare from across the room. But when it's real, it grows. And if you're lucky, it grows into family. At this point in the ceremony, I would like to invite Jim to come up and to give a reading from the bard from our lovely couple.
He's funny.
I'm Jim, I'm Ross's uncle. I actually brought a cheat sheet, as you can see my eyesight.
He's up my hair. Which is my hair? Looks like a big man.
Alright, so my services as a poet have been requested. It's surprising because I'm not a poet. My services as a saxophone player were not requested. So, A Red Rose by Rabbie Burns. Oh, my love's like a red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love, like the melody that's sweetly came in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love you still, my dear, till a' the seas gang by. Till a' the seas gang by, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun. I will love you still, my dear, till the sands of life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while, and I will come again, my love.
Maybe I can watch this.
bins, the dishes, the history lessons, and the endless laughter, you have arrived at this moment. You have built a life full of love, laughter,
Okay,
the
good.
kind of love that sticks through the hard days, laughs through the good ones, and still manages to surprise you when you least expect it. Now, in front of your family and friends, it's time to make those promises, the big ones, the through thick and thin bins and witherspoons kind of promises. So let's take a deep breath and step into this next chapter. Ross, do you take Linsey to be your wife in marriage?
I do.
Do you promise to keep bringing the fun, to always take out the bins, to support Linsey through everything life brings, and to never stop being her calm in the chaos, even when the weather ruins your big romantic plans? Linsey, do you take Ross to be your husband in marriage?
I do.
Do you promise to adventure through this life together?
I do.
Do you promise to keep cooking up a storm, to be Ross's fierce protector, best friend and favourite kind of madness, and to never ever stop believing in the love you two have built together?
I do.
And together, do you promise to laugh often, love fiercely, explore endlessly, and to never let go of the weird, wonderful, one in a billion connection that brought you here today? As part of today's ceremony,
It has so many here.
Linsey and Ross have, of course, chosen to incorporate the beautiful Celtic tradition of handfasting. Now, this is such a gorgeous, romantic, ancient romantic ritual whereby a young Scottish couple who wanted to establish themselves as being husband and wife within their community would not always be able to do that with a member of the clergy. So instead, they would each take a piece of cloth to represent their own kin, and they would go out into the hills of Scotland and they would have their hands bound together to symbolise the joining of two lives, of two souls, and indeed of two kins, two clans. So can I ask you to join left hands?
Wait, now your left, remember your right, right.
That's it.
Can
So who's kin is represented by the Wallace hunting
And
pattern.
that will.
So this ribbon represents
I like
Ross's kin,
Yeah.
When you saw a baby?
and this represents
McKinnis.
Lindsay's McKinnis clan.
Yes.
So just look at each other. Keep looking. Linsey and Ross, as you stand here today in the presence of those seen and those unseen, know that embedded within this fabric are the hopes and dreams that you hold for your life together as husband and wife. Can I ask you to place your right hands on top of the fabric? And then keep looking at each other and just repeat at the same time after me. As I give you my hand,
As I give you my hand,
so I give you my heart.
so I give you my heart.
As I lay my hand in yours,
As I lay my hand on yours,
so I lay my dreams
so I lay my dreams
in your keeping.
and you.
As my hand is bound with yours,
As my hand is bound by yours,
so is my love.
so is my love.
Today,
Today,
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
and all
What's
the days
this?
to come.
and all the days to come.
look at each other. Ross and Linsey, are you ready to tie the knot? Please release your hands. Oh,
Keep it. I'm on.
That's it.
What is
Let that go. Here we go. Yay! Please ask Ring Security to come forward.
That will be his also man. Harrison, get up.
There's your mum calling.
Harrison. Get up. Sorry, Facebook Live. Don't know Harrison anyway. You right down the Monday?
Would you like to give them to me? Do you think you could help me to open that bottle? That's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much.
Josh is straight back home. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about this.
Thank you so much. So, so let's look at your rings. Sit here.
This one is from the Channel Abbey here, Robert.
Look how she
I went and got that.
How beautiful. Everything that you've put in your ceremony has brought depth and magic. So there's so much in it.
There's a lot in here with these rings in.
And in a moment, you're going to take these rings with all their meaning and you're going to give them to each other as a reminder of what's taking place between you today. But as you go forth through life, there will be times when these rings are close by each other as they are today. And there will be times when they're much, much further apart.
That's actresses.
Yeah.
I can't dance with their one shoe.
Uh-huh.
I can't leave them. I need to take them.
We'll be done in 2 minutes, Harrison.
Wait to the camera.
But here today, again in the presence of all your loved ones, we ask that these rings be blessed this day. We ask that the metal always remembers the vows of marriage you have made to each other. We ask that the metal always holds the intention that you each have in your heart for your life together. And we ask that no matter how far apart these rings may travel, they will each always be trying to come home together. And I ask you to take Ross's ring and place it on his left hand as a reminder of the vows you've made here today. Ross, can I ask you to take Linsey's ring and place it on her left hand as a reminder of the vows you've made here today?
We have practice this.
Oh, first time.
Okay, hold hands for this part. Hold hands, look at each other. Okay, you ready? Linsey and Ross, today has been bliss. Now pucker up and get ready to kiss. Because I'm delighted to say for the rest of your life, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Linsey and Ross are now going to sign their marriage schedule. You guys can just sit here for a few minutes and we'll come back and we'll... Yes,
Sorry, I'm going to be drunk.
you want to sit where you want to sit. Stop. Can I have 2 minutes, please, Jim and Sean?
Careful.
that drop?
Good lads. We don't use matches on it, dangerous. No, dangerous. Hang on, babe. Okay.
Okay, folks, that's them. They've signed their name into history. It's wonderful. And today, Linsey Ross have also chosen to incorporate another beautiful Scottish ritual into the ceremony. To find out all about it, let's welcome Linsey's brother.
Basically, what I've asked for today is kind of a wee blessing and using the Quaich. The Quaich, for those of you who most try to know the Quaich actually is, it's a couple of friendships in Scottish culture. It's the old, I can't pronounce it because I'm not very Scottish. It's got a quack around as the old word. There used to be a wooden carved bowl. You really have to get hold of. So these days, I mean, I'm shooting in the main. So what we've got today is we've got a lovely whisky as well. Fucking I got faces, happy name, sunshine on a wedding morning. I wasn't really sunny this morning, was it? So we wouldn't be hopeful. So what really happened is, I'm going to have a sheet as well, Jim, because I can't remember. And I was doing the blessings and I looked up and the next one was actually the poem you read today, and thank God I didn't pick that, because that out. Oh my God, what the... So what we're going to do basically is, the Queen will be shared between the two of them. I'll do the blessing, and when I finish the blessing, you share the cup. Okay, so we're going to hold that again to you. So I'll just turn it, I'll do the blessing first. Okay, may both of you be blessed with the strength of heaven, the light of the sun, and the radiance of the moon. I'm emotional. Splendor of fire, the speed of lightning, the swiftness of the wind, and the depth of the sea, and the stability of earth, and the firmness of rock. God bless you. Keep your health. Beautiful. Now we let go.
Okay. Come and stand here. Down a bit. Turn and face me and cuddle into each other. Cuddle it. It's no matter the first time. So, to end today's ceremony, Linsey and Ross very much want to have a selfie because they're never going to have this moment again. So everybody up their feet. I'm going to count to 3. Where's your flowers? So I'm going to count to 3. We're all going to shout ball bag. You shout what? Tell them what they're to shout.
I want you all to shout Albacabra.
That magic word.
So after 3, we're all going to shout Alba Cabra. But I want you to make it look as if it's the best ceremony you've ever been to in your life. Hands up in the air, big smiles. And ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, right, stay standing up, folks. Linsey and Ross, may your love always be as steadfast as the highlands, rooted deep like the heather on the breeze. May your days together rise like the dawn over lochs and glens, golden and clear. May your voices always rise for what is right, your hands held fast in storm and stillness. May the passion that first sparked at rallies and rain with flags held high be the same fire that lights your way home. And may Scotland, wild and free, be your backdrop and your heartbeat, and the soil where your shared story grows. Cheers to your love, strong, bold and true. Can I ask you to turn and face your guests? Folks, please join me in a great big cheer as I give